Welcome to another episode on our channel. So I have Tyrion Lannister here from Game of Thrones. What I like about ThreeZero and Present Toys and Redmond Toys is that their boxes are sleeker, smaller, half the size, if not more, than Hot Toys boxes. And they still get in there quite a few things. Maybe not with this particular character, but you'll see another character I'll show shortly from The Walking Dead, Rick Grimes, from Present Toys, that has a ton of accessories in it. So you can get a lot of things in these boxes. It comes with a foam insert, and I just like the size. I like it because it's probably going to help in terms of shipping costs, because it's not as heavy or has the volume that the Hot Toys boxes incur. But the big thing is it takes up less of a footprint. So it is going to take definitely a lot less space to store boxes if you're into keeping your art boxes. So that's a beauty in and of itself. I wish everybody would just do this size. It would make things so much more easier in terms of collecting if you have a passion to collect. Anyway, so he doesn't come with a ton of things, but such boxes can hold a ton of things, but he doesn't come with a ton of things. He comes with two really relaxed hands that usually come on the body, but I bought this on the secondary market. So these are relaxed hands. Whoever sold this to me put the other hands on, and these are more gripping hands. But the one thing that I wasn't expecting, they said that the book had one tiny chip, and you'll see a close-up in a bit, but this has more than one tiny chip. It has lots of tiny chips. So my guess is with the plastic over the items, they didn't see the other chips. That's my guess. The other thing that I noticed when I took it out of the box is that there is some pleather missing in a couple of spots in the front and a couple of spots in the back. And I'll tell you how that happened when I have well, let me move this out of the way and bring something else in. Talk about real quickly right now. So when you store items in plastic for long periods of time, especially in non-climate controlled conditions, and humidity is high and it's pretty darn warm, what happened is my guess, because I can clearly see it on the plastic, is that when I pulled him out, I took the lid off and I pulled him out of the plastic container, some pleather stuck to the item, to the plastic. I think you can see it, right? There we go. In several places, actually. So this is from the back, and then this is from the front. Let me put my hand behind this one too. You can see it right there. Right here is where some of the pleather stuck. So it got pulled off of his outer jacket, which happens, unfortunately, when they use this material. Whether it's pleather or pleather-like, it's very fragile and subject to decay over time. And I think it's the temperature controls that are the big part, but humidity too can cause havoc with these items. And leaving them stored is another thing that can create havoc for these items. So, you don't really want to store them in plastic. That's my 2 cents anyway. So he comes with hands, one set of extra hands. He comes with this book, which is central to being the Hand of the King. And he comes with a cup to hold wine with. And the way I'm going to pose them is just like you see them here. I'm not going to pose them with a book. And I think the person who sold it to me probably didn't realize what I'm going to guess. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to guess that they didn't pull the item out of the plastic to check on the condition of the item. They probably just had it always stored, maybe never displayed it, or did it briefly and then stored it. And so they didn't check the status of the item before they sent it. And what they could see, maybe they could only see like they said, one tiny chip on the book, but it's very evident there's more than a tiny chip. So what we'll do now is pause and get some close-ups from the bottom of his feet all the way to the top of his head. I'll show you some close-ups, better close-ups of the book so you can see the chipping going on. But the wonderful thing about this item, despite the damage to it, is I got it for a really great price because, as you know, if you've been following me, I do market trends with the secondary market with 1/6 scale figures, and it's more of a buyer's market than it is a seller's market. So sometimes you can get really great deals on these items, especially if you're willing to engage in some bargaining with the person who's selling it, because sometimes they're asking for prices that are really unattainable in this market. They've had the items up for way too long, and you shoot an offer to them, even though they don't have an offer option, you'll find that they'll oftentimes take the offer. So it is a buyer's market right now, but even that's getting hard because the economy is, we're just pinching our pennies more these days. But anyway, we'll pause now, get some close-ups from here on up. We'll be right back. So if you can see the book, you can see that this is probably the one chip they saw, but there is also a chip on this side. There's a chip down here on this side, and on this side is a chip. And then here at the bottom, it's just really chipped out quite a bit here. And again, I really think that the plastic interfered with their ability to see some of the damage that was actually in place before they sent it. So we see his black boots, and then the wonderful outer coat, the belt, the burgundy fringes at the bottom, the burgundy shirt, the buttons on his outer coat, the wine cup that he was famous for drinking quite a bit on the show, on the Game of Thrones, the medallion on his chest, which represents that he is the hand of the king. And ThreeZero has really upped the quality of head sculpts. This is a wonderful likeness of Tyrion in the Game of Thrones that started in 2011 and ended in 2019. Tyrion Lannister. So I love him holding the cup, the way he's posed. I like this stance. He's pretty balanced. He didn't come with a stand. But you can see areas where the pleather has been ripped away. I think there was another spot here too, right here. And then in the front, you can see some damage on this side and over on this side. And again, I just think that the person just looked through the plastic and couldn't really see that the damage was there. So he is spot on for Tyrion Lannister. So we'll pause and get a close-up of his face. So here is the head, and just awesome details, great shading. wonderful curves in the hair. The eyes are very intense. ThreeZero captured his facial features very nicely. Peter Dinklage portrays Tyrion Lannister on the Game of Thrones. And it was George R.R. Martin who felt that Peter was the only one who could play Tyrion. And it was a great choice. He did a wonderful job. Later on, he sported a beard, a mustache, and that sort of thing, but this is the earlier version of him. And both 1/6 scale figures put out by ThreeZero with or without the beard are spot on for him. He is the son of an elementary music teacher. His father, insurance. He was into insurance salesman. His brother is a violinist, and he wanted to be in drama. He wanted to act. So a lot of creativity running through the family. The mother with music, the brother with music, he wanting to get into drama. But he wanted to be a serious actor. He didn't want to be in a role that was stereotypical or where he was made an object of ridicule. He wanted serious parts. He didn't really want to do anything in the fantasy field. And thank goodness he really read the script and saw how deep this character would run and how much of an important role he would play to the Game of Thrones. What I found out when I was looking him up is that, well, let me back up and complete at least the family history. We talked about his mom, his dad, his brother. He is married. He has 2 children. His wife is of normal size, and normal is hard to define. I mean, I'm 5 foot and I'm considered normal, but I'm pretty darn short. My husband is 6'2". He's considered normal, but he's pretty darn tall. And when we put each other together, we don't look right together. So, but we are normal, I think. So anyway, he's going like I'm crazy, but okay, he'll pay later. Anyway, he again wanted to be a serious actor, and I think he really demonstrated his skill, the full length and breadth of skill in the Game of Thrones. He was just an exciting character to watch. He literally won 4 Emmys for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series. And that is apparently the highest number of Emmys for that particular award. So we know he's a great actor. The neat thing that I have noticed about the Game of Thrones, I've been going back and looking at clips here and there of the Game of Thrones, and doing so, I've been reminded how good a series that was. It went from 2011 to 2019, so it was 8 seasons, and it was just an awesome series. But the thing I found along the way is I've been looking at the old clips of segments of the series, is I've run across some documentaries of people speaking about their experience during the series, and it's like every single person said this was an awesome cast. There were no divas, there were no people with egos. People just got along with everybody wonderfully. It was like a family kind of climate that was established and maintained throughout the entire series. It was sad to eventually wake up and not be on the series anymore when it concluded. People have still remained friends to this day. I mean, Tyrion, or I should say Peter, he was really great friends with with Charles Dance, who portrayed his father in the series. You know, they had an antagonistic relationship in the series where he eventually killed his father, but they had a great working relationship, a great friendship, as did he and Cersei. Lena Headey, who portrayed Cersei, they had an awesome working relationship as well. Not only was he the right person to play this role in Game of Thrones, he was a great actor in the series, but not only was he a great actor, but literally a great person, as were basically the entire cast, from what I understand. No wonder it ended up being such a great hit with audiences. We are back, and I'm starting to build my Game of Thrones set. So here is Arya Stark, Sandor Clegane, Maisie Williams was the actress, Rory Mccann, and now Tyrion Lannister, portrayed by Peter Dinklage. So I hope you've liked what you've seen so far. If you have, consider giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. In the meantime, everyone, please have a great day.